Man, Young Thug, Wednesday. Going for it, but will he get it? And holy hell, the killer of the killer. Yeah, DeMonte Kendricks. Yeah, bro. He coming up for his, and he wants something else to happen in the case. Y'all ready? Bond motion hearing has been scheduled for this Wednesday, May 7th. The case is very different than it was the last time Brian Still argued for bond over 9 months ago. The same judge granted bond to a co-defendant with a murder charge less than a month ago. The state originally argued and convinced the judge that Yak Gotti was too much of a threat to society to allow out on bond, but the state turned around and gave probation deals to 8 of his co-defendants that they made the same claims about, showing the state doesn't really believe what they were saying. For severance, they argued that multiple trials would be too burdensome on witnesses in the court. Since then, 11 defendants have been granted separate trials, showing that the state's concern is no longer invalid. State of Georgia versus DeMonte Kendrick. The defendant, by and through his undersigned counsel without waiving any other rights to which he is entitled, files this renewed motion to sever to the above-styled indictment as follows. On August 16, 2022, the defendant filed a motion to sever. In its opposition, the motion to severance filed on September 7, 2022, the state argued that severance would be enormously inefficient and it would unduly burden witnesses, who included numerous victims of violent crimes, by forcing them to testify repeatedly to traumatic events, create opportunities for defendants to shape their testimony based upon earlier trials to increase the risk of inconsistent results based upon the same evidence. The Honorable Court rejected defendant's motion to sever. But the latest cases changed dramatically in the interviewing 8 months, shrinking the number of defendants at the present trial by over 68%. From 28 defendants named in the indictment, the present trial is down to 9 defendants. State of Georgia versus DeMonte Kendrick comes now. The defendant in the above-styled case and moves this honorable court to set a reasonable bond pending the disposition of this case, showing the court the following: that to the present date, no bond has been issued for the above-mentioned defendant. Defendant is currently being held in the Fulton County Jail for over 1 year since May 9, 2022, changed with the following with 9 counts: 1, 2, 57, and 63. Defendant was denied bond last year after the state argued that defendant and his co-defendants were a danger to the community. Since the denial of bond, the state has offered and entered into plea agreements with at least defendants Murphy, Arnold, Stevens, Greer, Kitchens, Sledge, and Lee, permitting them to return to the community. The offer was despite having previously argued to this honorable court that those defendants pose a threat to the community. The court, having been convinced by the state's arguments before, should no longer provide the state with the benefit of doubt. One must now question how much of a threat the state, and it doesn't finish. So Yak Gotti wants his case severed from the whole entire RICO, which makes a lot of sense, because once they all get indicted as a group, man, you might look a little bit innocent, but y'all all about to take the fall for this one person. So I get it from that standpoint. But at the same time, too, bro, will he get bond? Well, I mean, technically, they laid it out pretty nicely. So I would say, yeah, even he's going to get bond. The thing is this, is once you let one go, all I have to do is repeat the words of that. But Young Thug getting a bond. It seemed like so, but the real question for me, I don't know for y'all, is he going to be able to record music? That nigga is going broke. Please believe this has cost him potentially millions just from music and touring and all that. But out of pocket for Brian Steele for this long, basically rejecting other cases, man, I'm going to tell you right now, I know that there's a pretty penny in which he has to pay. And you're talking about a whole entire year right now. And I think that's part of the reason why they said, man, let's do a speedy trial, because Young Thug can't afford all of that, bro. But who knows, man? And that's why I think ultimately Thug ain't never going to call Gunna a snitch, because, bruh, you still need that bread, which I told y'all. I was like, bruh, He released the old stuff so he can get bread off of that. And now y'all went to go check it out. But is Young Thug in the bond? I think so. But if he doesn't, then bruh, that's grounds for that judge to recuse himself, because now you are showing bias, bro, because you shouldn't have let the other guy out. They said circumstances change. We're this dangerous entity. Well, if we such a dangerous entity, bro, then how'd you let somebody else out who is on for murder? Come on now. That ain't one of Thug's charges.